Hi, I'm Daryl from BW Manufacturing. I'm the General Manager, and we're here today to go over service and maintenance of the A404 pulse vac. Again, we are the manufacturer of the A404. We also make a full line of surface preparation equipment. Today's focus here is on the 404, and we'll start off with the itinerary here. Basically, we're going to look at the handling and rigging of this machine. What we've done is, you notice there are holes here on all four corners of the legs. You guys do have a strap on here now. Some guys make a sling. We do now offer a lift bracket that bolts right to the body, puts it at its center point. It also has a hook loop on the top, makes it very safe to pick up and transfer and also tie down. I know these machines are kind of top heavy. It's just the nature of the beast, the way it's set up. You know, it does have the locking wheels. Like I said, if you want to reach out to us, we can get you pricing on that rigging mount. Basically, we're going to start off with our filters. What we did was we now carry, it's called our 10129H filter. It is a spun bond polyester with a PTFE coating. Everybody knows what PTFE is. It's Teflon. About a year ago, we worked with the manufacturer after running into issues with green concrete eroding the potting compound in the bottom, causing the filters to leak. Basically, what you're going to do is, anytime you see dust coming out of the exhaust of this machine, it's going to need a set of filters instantly. That's the surefire way. What you'll need to do then, drop the drum, pull the filters, replace with new ones. You also have to remove the lid and clean out the residual dust that you'll see up here in the top. That's the only way to cure that problem. We recommend basically if you're doing any damp cutting, high humidity areas such as your local area here, the 10129H is the best filter. If you get into dry cutting or any dry situations like that, we do have a more inexpensive throwaway filter. These filters are washable. You can take them out, rinse them off with a garden hose, let them air dry, and put them back in for repeated use. We no longer recommend you pull the filter out and barrel roll the filter on the ground to clean it out. Because what we found out was happening was the pans of the filter were getting damaged, breaking the compound and causing the filters to leak. I'm sure everybody here is taking out their aggression on a filter on the ground for having to clean it out. So what we recommend is basically let the machine set for about 10-15 minutes and let it pulsate on its own. That'll help clean out the filters. No need to take them in or out any longer. Basically, these filters are what they are basically rated at a 99.7 at 0.03 micron right out of the box. So they're going to cover any of your situations with OSHA. All right, the next section we'll kind of touch on is engine maintenance. It's just a standard 6-horse gasoline. It's a Robbins Subaru, Briggs & Stratton style. You'd want to change the engine oil every 100 hours and inspect the engine air filter daily. That's really about it with the engine itself. The air compressor is oilless, so there's no need to worry about that. The only thing is, about every 100 hours you'll want to change the intake filter on the air compressor. For belt alignment, requires the removal of the belt guard. It's pretty simple. You just take a straight edge, inspect, verify they're all in line based off the engine, and inspect the belt on a daily basis. Over on this side of the machine here, there is an opening to grease the blower bearing. Give probably a handful of pumps every 8 hours. You want to basically grease it at the start of every shift. That'll help maintain that. For any of these questions or reminders, this is all on our website. You can download the owner's manual right there to get all this maintenance procedures anytime while you're out in the field. The next big step is going to be over here in the pulsation box. That 9 times out of the 10 is where our problem is going to start. The battery itself works as a capacitor for the charging system, so if the pulsation isn't working, it can be directly related to that. The biggest thing is if you turn your power switch to the on position, you're going to look for 3 zeros and 2 LEDs. That's the key thing you're looking for every day as you start it up.
3 zeros and how many LEDs?
2. In the field, the biggest thing is you want to have a multimeter out there that if it's not pulsating, to check your battery for a minimum of 11.9 volts. With the pulsation system, you're going to want to watch the pressure gauge. It should be hitting off at about 85 to 90 psi. That's where on a normal operating procedure. If it's weak or if it's not pulsating at all, like I say, we start at the battery and work our way through the system. It's kind of we have a checklist we go through just to eliminate everything. We'll probably move on to probably more of another area you guys would be focusing on out in the field is up here where the air tank is at. I don't know if you guys want to step up and take a look as we go along with this. We have our air tank here. We have on the end a pressure relief valve that's set for 125 psi, so if the pulsation doesn't work, blows it up. These are what we will call pop-it valves. That's what we'll refer them to. That's their name. There is a real rubber diaphragm and a spring inside here. A lot of times, if the battery's good and it's not pulsating, most likely one of these are dirty, especially after dirty filters. It was a good question we just had. Can you pull these pop-it valves apart? Yes, you can. What you will see is if you have a good battery, you have a good air supply, and you're not hitting the pressure relief, you will pull this valve apart, take these 4 bolts out. There's a small spring in there and a rubber diaphragm. Take it apart, clean it very well, and put it back together. And 9 times out of 10 that fixes the pulsation problem. It's just a small air leak. Literally a small piece of debris will hold that valve open and keep the whole system from working. Covers that kind of the field service area of the tank. Basically the next thing we go to is the drum removal. Come around here and we do have, basically you'll crank the drum down, you let it come down on the ground. You can either release the latch on it and move the vacuum away, or you can unhook it here, pick it up with a forklift here and dump the drum. There are liners available for this that you can put down in there. You know, check with your safety people, you know, about recommending which mask to use while you're opening and closing it, just to be safe. It's covered that way, and if any, there will be some residual dust when you open it. Make sure the machine is off at that time. But really, that's about, you know, the fuller it is, the harder it is to manhandle.
What would you recommend in keeping the drum level so it doesn't affect the filters? Or
you can actually bring the dust level all the way up to the top of the drum. It's designed to do that. So, and in theory, our goal was with this being using a 55-gallon drum. What you could do is you could fill it all the way to the top. You drop the drum, pull the vacuum away, you cap that drum, and deal with it at a later date. So that's always an option as well. And now with the liners, we've had guys and they do fill that all the way to the top, close the bag. And they were saying probably for the best handling of the liner, when you want it probably a third to half full maximum. That drum, when it's full, it's 1,000 pounds of dust. So I guess it's all really depends on how strong you are and how strong you want to be that day. But yeah, I would recommend about a third to no more than half full on a liner. And then it's basically when you replace the liner, pull the drum back up into its steel position, and you're ready to go back to work. Yeah, that kind of covers that. So now we're going to work with Lithko here, and we're going to start to get probably some of the common things for you guys to carry with these out in the field. You know, pop rebuild, pressure gauge, battery, kind of some things that we can help you troubleshoot right out there in the field. They're inexpensive to keep on the truck at that time. Like we were saying, the biggest thing to look for is that there's the exhaust port over there on the back side. If once dust starts coming out, stop the machine, replace the filters, and clean it out before it gets any farther. Because it'll just, once there's a hole in the filter, it'll just continue, and you'll end up, that's when the trouble really begins to start. Basically, we move on. If you there could be some residual up there, yes, but if the filter's sealed correctly and it does not have a hole in it, there's very minimal. And we'll see when we drop these down. We'll clean this out here in just a moment, and we'll pull these filters down, and we'll look at the tops of them so everybody can kind of see what we're doing.
Separate the difference between what's dropping off the ceiling to what's
exactly. Yep. But when it is a bad filter, I mean, it's evident that there's quite a bit of dust on there. What we're going to do is at one point this machine did have bad filters in it, and we ended up with residual dust up in the very top here. And we're going to clean this area out here using a HEPA vacuum to minimize our exposure to the dust. Gentlemen are also wearing approved respirators. If you want to go ahead and vacuum this entire area out. What we'll do now is what we've done here is we've cleaned out the area up here at the top. There will be some little residual. You just can't get everything. That will probably blow out a little bit in the beginning. So that'll take kind of take care of that. What we'll do next is look at dropping the filters and changing them. The easiest way is to bring this all the way down, unhook the drum strap, pull the drum out of the way, and then underneath we have the 4 filters with the filter nuts, and basically we spin off the filter nut and then slowly drop the filter down.
Because originally it was going to be.
This is the sign of that's good.
Eso dice que una señal de que un filtro está bueno ahí, está en buena condición.
So you can see what little residual does drop down from the top is minimal, but you can see where it's been pulling. But yeah, these filters are actually in good shape. I would probably keep them on the truck as a backup.
What if you pull them out and they're caked with dust, just like the top and the bottom?
Using the if you're using the H filters, you can actually just rinse that out. Rinse it out from the inside just with a garden hose and let it set and air dry. If you have just one that way, I would probably check the system, see if there's an issue. If you're getting one that's consistently...
Normally when they're like that, there's something wrong with the blowback.
There could be, yeah, there could be one poppet valve that's not functioning.
A lot of times when they bring them back, they are blowing dust, and when you pull them out, the filters are caked like that, so there's a chance there's something wrong with the top.
Or that, yeah. What I'd do, the first thing I would do if it's blowing to drop the filters and wash it out, the whole setup, and start, so you're starting fresh that way. Put a new set of filters in it, get it fired back up and see what it does. Those actually look pretty good.
Hey Richard, you want to think them boys have gloves on?
Tanto guante, mijo. Safety first.
There, they can actually stick those back in. If they have like empty everything, they can just let it run 15 minutes, it'll boil it back out.
Yep. Yep.
Where these come from?
Those are the old ones.
Okay.
At that point, we just get that reinstall the drum. That's as simple as it is to change the filters. As you can see, the machine has cleaned itself up from having a bad filter, even though there was some residual left in there. This is the way the machine should function properly, with no dust out of the exhaust whatsoever. You see they've installed the drum liner into the barrel. Actually fairly simple. Reconnect the drum strap. About third link. What about that?
That's free, man.
Now the thing we have to remember with the A404 Pulse Vac is we've designed it to work on air volume versus air lift. A lot of the smaller vacuums you see, such as the one we cleaned out the top with, are work on a lot of lift. We're on sheer volume. So the material needs to be in the air for the vacuum to pull it away. That's why on our saw shrouds the port is near the front, and we'll see when we go to pick up this dust in the tray that we'll need to bring the material up in the air and the vacuum will pull it away. Yep. The only reason that the machine would puff dust out the exhaust is improper filter installation or a compromised filter has a hole in it. Those are the only two reasons it blows like dust out the exhaust.
¿Alguien tiene preguntas?
After approximately 20 minutes of cutting, as you'll see, we don't have any more residual dust during proper operation than we did before we started. That's the key thing when these things are up and running. There's no dust coming out the exhaust, and we haven't gained any more, keeping the system clean. No,
You have at it. You're on
I don't
live.
have much thunder. This is all you're getting.
So if you want to explain us kind of what I just told him.
Yep. Basically, as you stated, you rinse them off with a garden hose. You don't want to use any pressure wash. You don't want to use a nozzle. Just let the hose go, and you always start from the inside out. And basically, you're just gonna, what it boils down to is just rinsing the filter off, getting all the residual dust off of it.
That Teflon does a good job, huh?
It actually does.
I haven't seen it. All I use on my guns, that Teflon shit. It looks great.
It's so not PG.
You gotta have a.
Basically, you run it around the outside until you see until clean water comes out. Most of your fill is going to be down at the very bottom. You just keep running it around. As you can see, the water now at the bottom is basically cleaned up. More rinse around the inside. Any residual. And that's it.
right, we got 3 more. Who's next?
Basically, you let them sit in there dry.
How long does that take? I know humidity and all.
Probably 8 hours.
José dice que cuando limpias con agua, lo que tienes que hacer es limpiar adentro afuera.
So release the pressure.
Is the pressure out?
The pressure's out.
You see? 1 second, pick it up.
We got a spotter too. That's beautiful. Spotter's beautiful.
Arms are shaking. Don't overfill it. Beautiful.
Thank you.